Okay. So, good evening, students. Let us begin with the lesson on the trial of the earliest people, lesson 2 of history. Okay, and we have studied in this chapter about the earliest people. We have studied uh, about the sources through which we come to know about these people. Okay. So we see that we have studied about the stone tools, the archaeological sources. Archaeologists have found stone tools of various shapes and sizes, which indicate that these people, they applied these tools for the purpose of hunting and other activities. Now we are moving to the next subheading of the chapter, and this subheading is choosing a place to live in. Choosing a place to live in. Okay. Map number 2 on page number 14. Now, if you have the book with you and if you go through the map, then you'll come to know about the important archaeological sites related to the Paleolithic period. Okay, related to the Stone Age. Okay, we can say, because in this map we have description about the various sites of the various subdivisions of the Paleolithic of the Stone Age. So we see that in this map, when we look all the places, okay, the places that are marked in red, the places that are marked as red triangles. Okay, if you have a look at the map, you will see that the places that are marked, okay, as red triangles, these are the sites of, okay, these are the places that are marked as red triangles are the Paleolithic sites. These are the Paleolithic sites. And which are the places that have been marked with red triangle? Okay, the places are Hunsi, Kurnul, okay, and Bhimbetka. Where is Bhimbetka? Bhimbetka is in present day Madhya Pradesh. So these are the places, okay, that were these are the places which were inhabited by the people of the Paleolithic period, the old Stone Age period. Now, as we observe the map in a better way, we will come to see that there are places marked in as square in blue color. Okay, now what are these places? These are the sites. Okay, these are the Neolithic sites. The word Neolithic means new Stone Age. These are the Neolithic sites. The places marked in blue and in the form of square, they are the Neolithic sites. And which are the places which are the Neolithic sites? These are Halul. Okay, then we see Burjahom on top, Megar is there. Okay, and then we have Dausali heading Koldiva. And in the northeast, if you look at the sites in the northeast, you will see Dausali Hading. These are the Neolithic sites. So we can say the people of the New Stone Age, they inhabited these sites. Okay. Now when we move further in the map and we observe the map, we see a few circles are there in green color. There are places marked at the places marked as green circles. The places marked as green circles indicate the megalith. Okay, they indicate the megalith sites. Okay, so we see these are the places which are indicating the megalith sites, and which are those places which are marked as green circles. The places that are marked as green circles as Brahmagiri. Okay, at the below part you see the lower part of the map. When you look at the lower part of the map, you will see Brahmagiri. And the other place is, okay, Adi Chamalur. Adi Chamalur. So these are the places, okay, these are the places which are the megalith sites. Okay, apart from these Neolithic sites, Paleolithic sites, and the megalith sites, uh, uh, there is a shape in the color purple. Okay, we see in our previous chapter we saw that around 8,000 years ago, villages developed. Okay, around 8,000 years ago, villages developed near the Suleiman Hills and the Kirthar Hills. Okay, this is what we have, okay, information from the previous chapter. Now, as far as this chapter is concerned, we see that Inamgaon is the archaeological site. Okay, and Inamgaon is marked as, okay, this in this shape in Inamgaon. Shivangi, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, beta. So let us proceed. Okay. So we see in Namgaon, villages developed near the banks of river Narmada, and two places have been marked as modern cities, and these places are what? Mumbai and Kolkata. Two places marked in the form of a star. Modern cities. Okay, modern cities have been marked as okay, through star. Modern cities have been marked, and these modern cities are what? These modern cities are Mumbai and Kolkata. Okay, So this is all we have when we go through the map. When we see the map, we will see that, okay, the triangles, the red triangles are the sites from which, okay, the archaeologists have found evidence about the hunter gatherers. The hunter gatherers lived in many places. They lived in many places, but only a few have been marked on the map. Have been marked on the map. Okay. Now, when we go through the map, we see that hunter-gatherers, they lived in many places, but only a few have been shown on the map. Okay. There were many sites. There were many sites which were located near the river sources. Many archaeological sites, many archaeological sites were located near the water sources like rivers, streams, lakes, etc. Okay, the sites where water was available. Okay, the sites where water was available were inhabited, were inhabited by the earliest people. Okay, so these sites were known as what? These sites were known as habitation sites. Okay, these sites were known as habitation sites. So we see the places where water was available. Okay, many archaeological sites were located near the water sources like rivers, streams, lakes, etc. And the sites where water was available were inhabited by the earliest people. And as such, these sites were known as habitation sites. Okay, apart from the habitation sites, बीच में ना सिर्फ धूम करके जो है बंद हो गया था और वो अनम्यूट हो गया था. Okay, so we see that the hunter gatherers, since their prime activity was hunting and gathering food from the forest, so they required different types of stone tools. So they also tried to live in places. Okay, the hunter gatherers also tried to live in places where the where good quality stone for hunting was available. The hunter gatherers searched for places where good quality stones were available. Stones were available. Okay. So the places Okay, so we see that the places where a stone was found and where people made stone tools are known as the factory sites. Places where stones are available and people made stone tools are what? Are known as factory sites. Okay, because the stones are being converted into tools by the earliest people. Okay, so we see that these are the places where the stone tools were made, and as such they were known as the habitation sites. Now how do we know about these factories? We know about these factories because we have found blocks of stone tools that were made and perhaps discarded by the hunter gatherers because okay, they did not have perfect shape, and chips of waste stone. Okay, chips of waste stone have also been left behind at these sites. So we can say that the sites, the archaeological sites that have been mentioned in the map, they can be said to be the habitation come factory sites of the earliest people. Okay, now if you go through the image that have been provided in your book on page number 15, you will see an image of a natural cave. A rock shelter has been given in the book. Okay, and this rock shelter uh, is still there. It is in present day Madhya Pradesh. Okay, it is in Bhimbetka, present day Madhya Pradesh. And the hunter gatherers, they chose to live in, they chose to live in places, okay, like this. We know that the earliest people, they resided in forests. The hunter gatherers lived in forests, okay, caves, on tree tops, okay. The hunter gatherers lived in forests, caves, on tree tops, and rock shelters. Okay, why they chose to live in the rock shelters? The hunter gatherers, they chose to live in the natural caves and the rock shelters. The earliest people chose to live in the natural caves. These caves were okay already there in the nature. They okay, nature has created these caves, that is why they are known as the natural caves. Okay, and rock shelters, it is believed that they might have taken a shelter. They might have taken shelter in these rock shelters and natural caves to protect themselves. To protect themselves, to protect themselves from the rain, from the rain, heat, cold wind and wild animals. Okay, when they started hunting, if you go through the history of the hunter gatherers, you will see when they started hunting, they used to hunt on their own. But with passage of time, they saw that hunting of wild animals was risky, so they started moving in groups. They started moving in groups for hunting the wild animals. Okay, so we see that the hunter gatherers lived in forest, caves, on treetops, and rock shelters. The earliest people chose to live in the natural caves and rock shelters to protect themselves from the rain, heat, cold wind, and the wild animals. Okay, and how do we come to know about these rock shelters and the natural caves? We come to know about it from the evidence that we have. Okay, we have got evidence from the natural caves and rock shelters. Natural caves and rock shelters have been found in Bhimbetka, present day Madhya Pradesh, okay, in the Vindhyas and okay, and the Deccan Plateau, and the Deccan Plateau close to the close to the river Narmada. Okay, so we see that natural caves and rock shelters have been found in Bhimbetka, present day Madhya Pradesh. It has also been found in the Vindhyas and the Deccan Plateau close to the river Narmada. So these are the places where we have found evidence about the hunter gatherers living along with their okay family members. Now, as we move further, we come across the heading sites. Sites, we know what are sites. What do we mean by the word sites? Sites are the places, okay, where remains of the things, pots, pans, buildings, sculpture, tools, etc. Okay, related to the past, related to the past have been found, have been found. So we have gone through a number of sites, okay, a number of sites in the map that we have on page number 14. Now let us try to understand how these earliest people, they utilize this stone, how they utilize the stone to make stone tools. We say that the earliest people made tools from stone okay, in two ways. Okay, they applied two methods. They applied two methods to make the stone tools. The first method was, okay, stone on stone. Okay, supposing, how do I explain this stone on stone technique? Supposing I have a stone, okay, the figure is there in your book. If you have a look at the figure, okay, the image that has been provided, how stone tools were made, okay, one of the techniques have been shown, and this technique is stone on stone. Okay, a particular shape of stone has been taken, okay, and on, okay, another stone is taken, and this stone is, okay, we try to, okay, hit the stone, the first stone, with the help of the second stone. The second stone is used as a hammer. Okay, it is used as a hammer to strike off flakes, okay, from the first stone to give it proper shape. The core of the first stone is hit. Okay, so in a stone on stone technique, the pebble from which we see that the pebble from which the tool was to be made was held in one hand. The pebble from which tool was made was held in one hand. Okay, and another, okay, so we see the pebble from which tool was made was held in one hand, and another stone was used as a hammer. Another stone was used as a hammer, and kept in the other hand. Okay, so supposing I have taken this, supposing I take this stone, supposing I am taking this stone as a, okay, uh, as the first stone, as a pebble, and now I want to give shape to this stone. So I will hit the center of this, okay, the core of this stone, by the help of another stone, and I will try to strike off flakes from it, okay, to give it proper shape. We will try, I will try to give a proper shape to the first stone. So this is how the the stone on stone technique was used. Okay, the second stone was used to strike off flakes from the first. The second stone was used to strike off flakes from the first to give the required shape. Okay, so we see it was striked by the second stone was used to strike off flakes from the first stone to give the required shape, the kind of tool we wanted. And the second technique was pressure flaking. This technique is also similar to the first one, but little bit of difference is here. Pressure flaking. Under this technique, what is happening? Okay, under the technique pressure flaking, the core was placed on a firm place. The core of the first stone was placed on a firm surface. It was placed on a firm surface, and then what happened? The hammer stone was used on a piece of bone or stone. The hammer stone, the second one, was used. The hammer stone was used on a piece of bone or a stone placed at the center placed at the center to achieve the strike of flakes. To strike off flakes from the first stone and give a proper shape. Now let me try to explain you, how it was done. We see in the case of the first stone, we see that in the case of the first stone, a second stone is applied as a hammer, and this stone is used as a hammer to strike off flakes. Supposing I want to give shape. So what I will do is I will strike it with the first hammer, and I will try to give a shape to it. This was a stone on stone technique. And in the second case, this is the stone, and this is the core. Now here what is happening? Here another stone, or supposing a bone is kept. A bone is kept at the core, and then it is hit, by the other stone as a hammer. तो दबाव का प्रयोग किया जाता था दूसरे वाले टेक्निक में जो है, दूसरे वाले तकनीक में जो है दबाव का प्रयोग किया जाता था। और ये दबाव कहाँ से आ रहा है? ये दबाव आ रहा है जिस चीज को जो है सेंटर में, केंद्र में रखा गया है, या तो हड्डी रखा जाता था या तो दूसरे जो है पत्थर के टुकड़े रखे जाते थे बीच में, ताकि जो सेंटर है सेंटर पे जो है दबाव जो है वो ज्यादा हो। तो ये दो तकनीक थे जिसके द्वारा जो है हंटर गैदरर्स, जो अर्लीस्ट पीपल थे, वो अपने पत्थरों के जो है औजार बनाया करते थे। Now let us move to the next heading, that is finding out about fire. Finding out about fire. Now let us try to understand. We know that it is during the Paleolithic period. It is during the Paleolithic period that the fire was discovered, and we have evidence of this from the Kurnul caves. The Kurnul caves on map number 2. From the ashes have been found. Ashes have been found in the Kurnul caves. On the Kurnul caves are mentioned on map number 2, and we see that ashes have been found here. Okay, ashes have been found in the Kurnool caves, and the Kurnool caves are the Paleolithic sites. They are the sites of the old Stone Age period, and this suggests that people, okay, this suggests that earliest people used fire. Okay, now when you study the history of these Paleolithic period, when you go through the history of the Paleolithic period, you will see that the earliest people, they might have seen the, lightning falling on the trees in the forest, and they might have discovered fire in that way, or they might have discovered fire in the form of volcanic eruptions that were taking place. Okay, for a long period of time they used to fear these volcanic eruptions because the molten magma that was coming out from the volcanic eruptions, okay, it had immense heat inside it. It could burn anything. So for a long period of time they used to fear these volcanic eruptions, but with passage of time they saw that the embers, okay, the burning rocks, okay, gave warmth to them, and the heat that was generated, or the kind of light that was generated, it helped them to keep the animals, the wild animals, away from them. So with passage of time, okay, they started